but yeah. After the meeting, you can find this recorded on chat on Microsoft Stream. Where it is, I even have no idea. Okay, then. So anyway, let me just quickly recap. Well, actually, now it will be recorded, and then somebody will find it and tell, like, what the hell this guy is talking about. So yeah, anyway, if I will be starting this application, I would select a few middlewares. First of it is like Redux Saga, just to handle asynchronous stuff. Again, it will be used for, I don't know, stuff like checking for new messages, sending the message, or writing to some external storages, such as local storage. Yeah, so also it could be used for this thing, because we can make a listener which dispatches the action on, for example, when the application goes online or offline. Just in case, have you used dispatch in Redux when you were developing your application? Just like, please answer, anyone. Of course. Okay. I'm just asking because again, I haven't seen your code. I don't know how it went. Like, yeah. So getting back to the middleware, so we can like basically set some listeners and stuff like that for dispatching the actions, and Redux Saga will be handling all the heavyweight lifting. I mean, basically it works like that. You are dispatching action for application went offline, for example. So Redux Saga will just have some kind of listener for that. And actually, it is a listener basically, because Redux Saga runs as a you just run it like my Saga, and it will be running as a infinite loop somewhere under the hood. And you can basically tell Saga, like, I want to run this method on every action, yeah? And you specify action for, well, user fetch. Here it's user fetch, but just imagine it's like application went offline. How do you set the event listeners for state change beside Redux Saga? I mean, it's just a middleware. So Redux Saga works with the event listeners for state change. It's a good question. You basically don't listen to your state change because your components do. But if you want to, I don't know, to make anything on the some object change, for example, you need to dispatch an action again. So here you can see, like, take every runs this method on this action. And if you want to dispatch another action on some event, you just run put type some stuff. So basically, how you've done that with the just dispatch in the component. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's really understandable, but JavaScript info. Okay, I see some link. What does it mean? So yeah, for example, you have you still need to define some stuff with the sockets, right? So here you just need to run these dispatch methods. For example, on message, you just dispatch the action like new message arrived and some data in the payload. Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? You were asking about best practices. So what I would do, I mean, I've done like chat once in my life. I use function, yeah, something like that. So I've done chat application once in my life. It was like 3 years ago or something. And I was using some library. I don't remember its name, but usually, I mean, how the actual developer solves the problem. Let's say. I mean, it's partially true, it's partially joke, but still, you just go to Google, write something, Redux chat middleware. Most probably it will show you a lot of tutorials, of course. But on the other hand, just a second. Okay, not chat middleware, but socket middleware. Yeah. And then you will probably find some package which already abstracts all this stuff regarding the sockets, because you don't want to write your on error stuff on new message things, setting everything from scratch. And actually, working with the sockets itself, it's not really easy if you have like I don't know, some complex functionality such as rooms, authentication, user roles, and stuff like that. So basically, you just go to GitHub and find some library which already does all this stuff for you. Well, it's actually bad library, because 10 stars, it's not serious, and it's not supported for a year. So basically, it's infinity in JavaScript world. So yeah. Also, the best source of information is to go to reduxjs.org, and they have like ecosystem page where you can find some recommendations. Like there are some really popular packages, or I don't know, middlewares. So I'd start with that, because again, so here I can see that an optionated connector between Socket.io and Redux. So even though, I mean, the Redux team suggested to use it. So basically, it's better to go there and check what it is. Yeah, I'd say it's not really good that it's not supported, but you might, I mean, you don't need to use it just like this exact package. You can go to source code. Most probably it's really small, and it's actually small, just one file, you see, and check how it works, and maybe implement your middleware by your hand, I mean. So yeah, answering the question regarding like we have certain state change, and we want to listen for state change on reducer, not on message. So first of all, there is I mean, it's not recommended to do that. I mean, listening in the state, because we want to have. Let me start from scratch. So what's Redux basically? Redux architecture. There are a lot of pictures like which should like illustrate how it works. Which one? Okay, let's start with this one. So Redux is just an implementation of that pattern called Flux, which were basically, well, it stated that it was invented by Facebook, but actually it was invented way long before, like at 60s or something, and it was called somehow else. I don't remember the exact name, but it's a pattern, basically a pattern of doing things. So Redux allows you, well, not allows you, provides you with the store. Store is just an object with some methods inside. And what store does, it just has all the data there, our state, application state, and it allows you to connect to React. You must probably use connect middleware, connect function. It's basically high order component to connect to your React components. I mean, connect Redux to React components. So basically, once state will be changed in store, it will notify all the components which are connected to it to re-render. Basically, it will just update props on those components. So that's it. If you want to change the state, you can do it in the, like, I don't know how to say it. You shouldn't be doing that in any other way other than action. I mean, dispatching the action. So basically, if you want, yeah, I need some example. I mean, you say that something changed in the store, but what specifically? Because most probably you just need to rethink the problem, change the implementation, and that's it. Because most of the things is possible to resolve with the actions, like dispatching the actions. I mean, running other actions, abstracting actions somehow, that everything handled in the actions. I mean, the data change. So if you can just tell us any example you were struggling with, we will try to, I don't know, to explain how it's possible to implement without listening something in the reducer. Because first of all, you have the full access to the state object in the reducer. Just let me. Redux reducer. So yeah, handling actions will change some state, and I want to know if something changed. So in what way? I mean, for that, usually the actions are here, and you should just dispatch another action. If you know that something changed, just dispatch another action for that. Like you click on the button, right, which sets the username to local storage, for example. So you have a username in input field, and you have a button. You click on the button, you dispatch the action with the value from the input. It goes to the store. But before that, I mean, the action itself could be used to, I mean, the action, how it's called? I forgot the official term for that. But I mean, actions could be could have code inside. It's simple objects, but for example, if it's a thunk action, then it could have action creators. Sorry, yeah, that's it. So action creators can return one action, or then they can return several actions using middleware such as thunk. So yeah, that's how you do that. You check what's changed. For example, you know that let's check this example. Add to do, right? So you receive text here. You know that text will change something in the store. So you dispatch the actual action for text, and you dispatch the action for some other place of the store to be changed. And then in the reducer, you can just set the value or process the value somehow. So something like that. You don't listen to the let's say the actual state, because otherwise you will break the one-way cycle of data movement. Yeah, actually I was going to show this one. Design and state shape, and actions, posts. So yeah, action creators. So yeah, here's how it looks like, a sync action creator. So this function would be called by some UI action, for example, button click. you will be passing some data to the action creator, and then you see that it has like internal function with dispatch 5 of 15. I will change a certain state, and we want to only monitor this state, so we don't have to change and go through all 15 actions. That's a good question. I mean, we've already went to some abstract examples. Most probably, if you have such situation, something wrong with your application, and you need to rethink some functionality. So I don't know, but yeah. Again, for those purposes, we have middlewares, which allows you to, for example, to get a list of actions, or I don't know, to process several things in one go. So yeah, again, that depends, but it's not considered a good practice to listen to the actual state. So yeah, just you need to think differently here. Sorry for this stamp. I feel it's not really understandable. Doesn't go both ways. Why I'm not sure what do you mean, but yeah. Yeah, all right. I actually don't have anything to add to this question. I mean, we need to see like the actual example, because the idea that you have like 5 or 15 actions and you need to check to monitor the state, it's most probably something wrong with the application design. It doesn't sound right for, I mean, not even in the context of Redux. Because just imagine you don't have any JavaScript framework. You have like 15 events, right? So you will not bind 15, I don't know, 15 methods. You most probably will use some capturing phase or bubbling phase, and delegate your listeners, right? So here is like the same stuff. Most probably you will have some kind of special action that has like bigger object which needs to be deconstructed into small pieces, and then you dispatch another actions, and I don't know, your state will be updated, and after that your React components will be updated as well. They will render your data, and like that's the cycle, only one way, and everything is simple and predictable, something like that. So because monitoring the state, it was like the idea of previous frameworks such as Angular. I mean, the first version, at least. I don't know how it's handled in the second version, but in first version it was like two-way binding. Most probably you've heard about that. So old frameworks were using that two-way binding to bind view and model via controller in both ways. So basically, you change something on the view, the model updated immediately, and the other way around. But that raised a lot of head pain when you had like cycled dependencies on the models, like one field in the model updates like other field on the second model, and vice versa, and then you were getting like really painful experience of trying to decouple that stuff. So yeah, I guess that's it. Any more questions? And please do use microphone, because I feel like I'm talking with myself.
Can you access to my GitHub on RS School? I put it some lines up in the chat.
I guess I can.
Yeah. Can you show this code? Oh yes, in this folder.
Sure. Any specific file, or you want just to go through it and check what's
I think a main component in app folder.
Okay. So what's the question?
It's okay.
Well, actually, your mentor should tell if there are any issues. But yeah, let's quickly check. So what I see here is that you've broken up the application. It's good. Although
I'm sorry for interrupting you. Can you share a screen?
I'm sharing it, I guess.
You're sharing. So I guess it's problem from my side. I can see nothing.
Anyone can see my screen?
Yep, but can you make some bigger, small? Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sorry for that. I have a huge monitor. Keep forgetting that people might be using mobile phones even for that. So yeah, what I was talking about. So it's good that you've broken up everything to small components, because I've seen a lot of code where people just put everything to the app.js and that's it. Although, yeah, those components are small, I guess. Yeah, okay, then it's fine. I mean, usually people make some kind of component folder, for example, for those components which will be shared across the application or reused several times. But again, this application is small, so I guess it's not needed to have it. And for Redux and related code, it's usually good to have like a separate folder as well. I mean, here it's just like 8 files and that's fine, but in usual application it's like, I don't know, even though in the project I'm working on, it's like 3,000 files or something. So if you don't have folders, you will just, yeah, willing to like resign from the work or something. So yeah, what else? Okay, let's go through the app first. So having these globally, most probably, well, it depends, of course, but I'd say it's better to set socket object to the store as well. Although, I mean, to set it as a separate branch, so it will not be changed a lot. Because storing it like that, and if you need to pass anything like to another part of the application in the future, you will need to do this annoying props drilling, like, you know, passing the object on the JSX tag and stuff like that. And it's the first thing. But on the other hand, oh, actually, maybe you're storing it in the Redux. I don't know. Okay, yeah, all right. So I'd store it somewhere else, not in the root object. But again, this application is small, so that should be fine. Handle text method to send. So this one could be changed to arrow function. You don't need to bind stuff. Arrow functions already supported, especially that you're using class. So you can just write it like handle text message to send equals braces equals how it's called, greater than, I mean the arrow function, and then your implementation, because that's the old way of binding things. Component did mount, I mean, okay, what we are doing here, we are setting the user. Okay, yeah, that might be the place. By the way, anyone used the React hooks already, or you started just with the classes, or it was a requirement again?
I don't use in this application React hooks.
Okay, I mean with React hooks, it's actually, well, a little bit cleaner, let's say, because this part is a good candidate to be stored at the use effect hook. So you basically set it, because currently, if the user, for example, if you want to add the user logout, for example, you will not be able to do that because this method will be called only once. And basically, if you want to change the user somehow, you will not be able to do that. Change username. Oh, and by the way, it should be stored like in local storage, and that's it, like without any text field bound to it, or how its nickname should be stored in local storage and reused across up launches. All right. Not sure how it's handled right now, but it seems like you have like one place with the where you store the nickname, and then you can just add the functionality to change it. So this is a good candidate to move this functionality to Redux first. So basically, on application run, you need to dispatch some kind of action. I don't know. I mean, it could be done in component did mount, for example. You're just dispatching the action like user login or something, or I don't know, authenticate user, for example, and then this action will be processed in the Redux by checking local storage, grabbing the thing from it, and storing the nickname in the store. So you will be able to, for example, update some kind of component, like a button for with avatar and username, for example. So that would be much easier than that, because currently you just set the nickname to local storage or try to read it, and that's it. You can do anything else. Props open, change user. Okay, there is a window for that. So if it's undefined, we need to set it, and if it's not, then we can change it. And what does it do?
It opens a window to changing username.
All right, like the actual window, not the model. I don't know, element. Oh, okay. That's interesting way of. Yeah, okay, that might be done as well, and you actually connected it here. Okay, all right. Yeah, let me just quickly recap my suggestion of like for small application, please do not break the application to small parts. Actually, even here, you see when I go to the app.js, I don't know your application yet. I see that it has props. Okay, so the props should have these two methods. For me, it doesn't tell much. So I don't know where those props are coming from. So change username. Okay, it comes from the Redux as well. So I'd say that application structure is kind of important here, because I want to know, I mean, just from looking from the folder, I can tell which component is connected to Redux, which is not. I mean, okay, we have header. Header is connected because we need to what? Okay, there are two things here. Interesting. So, or footer, yeah. So for example, footer is not connected. So I'd say to put this component to separate folder called, like, I don't know, dump components, for example, or presentational components. So in that case, it will be much easier to other developers to understand like which components are connected to Redux store. So, all right, so I was wrong about the actual implementation. So this is connected to Redux already. I see much more port rates on the call. So somebody is just joined again, like an hour after. All right. Anyway, let's continue then. Component did mount. So here you do all the WebSockets, let's say setup. So I did extract it as a separate method first, passing the, I don't know, any parameters here. Do we need anything from the application? So we need WebSockets object. What else? What's notification? I have no idea. It's a global object. Okay, sorry. So it's permission granted, notification. All right. So again, I'd rather do this in the actions, because currently it's tightly coupled to the main component. Most probably you will don't need to have notifications permission granting in any other component, so it's fine. It should be fine. But I'd rather extract any logic from the component to actions or I mean Redux basically, and leave your components mostly with the presentation stuff and some methods around it. So this one shouldn't belong here, I'd say. So on open, I'd rather dispatch in any action. Like the connection is open, so we can send a notification, for example, something like that. And that should be handled by adding some asynchronous middleware, such as Thunk or Redux Saga or anything else. All right. But again, this small application, the code snippet is like one screen only, so it might be okay. So this definitely should be handled by Redux. And okay, it actually does. All right. So you're doing some small processing and update message list. And what you do with the message list? All right. So you're grabbing the message list from props, and I guess this is connected to the Redux. So yeah, that's fine. Close event. So, and here I'm not sure it's a good idea to write it like that. Yeah, I mean, current text message to send. You're just I assume that you're resetting the input field, and you're sending it, right? And you still have the list of messages in the store. Okay, yeah, that might be done like that. So yeah, it seems okay. Although I'd create some kind of actions file, something like actions.js somewhere in the project, and put all the constants there, because currently you have it here, and most probably you have it here as well as a text, right? Yes. So basically, if you change it here, you need to change it here. You need to change it in other places. So basically, it's best to have like, let's check maybe some example with that. Yeah, something like that. So you create an actions.js file where you put all the constants and export them, so they are available through the application. That's usual recommendation for action objects. What else? Oh, and actually you can even create action creators like this. So you basically, yeah. Oh, actually it's called action types. Sorry, not actions.js, but action types. And then you will be able to use it like that. Simple. All right. What else? Yeah, Redux DevTools here. It's good. Maybe it's good to check if this is a production application or not. So to turn off DevTools on production. Yeah, initial state should be defined somewhere on the top as a separate variable. I mean, that's fine as well, but just a little bit clunky. Object assign. So I don't know. I mean, I've seen that you're using operator spread, so I guess it should be enough. I mean, better to use operation spread, not to use object assign. I mean, it doesn't. It's not different much here in this case, but just much easier to write. I mean, you will be writing something like state, and I don't know.
Yes, this place is corrected by my mentor after pull request.
Why so?
This place in code is corrected by my
I got it. But he,
spread operator is better.
All right, okay, I got it. I thought like it was already corrected by mentor, and he told you to use object assign. I see. All right. So yeah, spread operator is much better here. Well, reducer is simple. You're just setting the values here, so not much to discuss actually. What else we can check? Change user, right? So you're opening some. There is a form for that. Okay. All right. So another thing I can recommend, again, getting back to Redux documentation. First of all, I mean, everything you've done is okay. It's like basic example of using Redux, but currently they have this project called Redux Toolkit. I mean, it's from the Redux team. So basically, they've pre-configured a lot of things into Redux, into single package. So basically, you can install it, run a few methods from it. Like again, no, you still need to create a store, define your reducers, like dispatch anything and stuff like that. But a lot of things, God damn it, why it's switching to. But a lot of things already pre-configured here. For example, I see that your application, and again, that's basic application. Oh, sorry, that's basic application, so most probably you don't need it. But in real application, especially where you have a message list, right? For example, for some strange reason, you receive the list of messages. The exact same list of messages, and you don't want to recompute everything. Like I don't know. I don't have any example right now in my head, but let's say usually you need to go through the list of messages, and it's like 1,000 messages, and grab all the usernames from there. So, for example, you know that the list was not changed, but you still received it from, I don't know, from WebSockets, for example. So to prevent these expensive calculation, you most probably will use a library called, and I forgot the name. It's Selector, yeah. So computer, no, not this. Yeah, this library. It's called Reselect. It's again created by Redux team. And it allows you to pass the state, select specific object. Like, for example, you have really nested structure. So you can select specific objects and then create selector out of the objects and dependencies. Well, here it's not shown. Yeah, here, for example. So selector uses 2 dependencies and the function. Inside of it, it's implemented using memoization. So basically, if the dependencies are not changed, the function will return a result immediately without recalculating it again. So usually it's used in all applications. Yeah. What else? I guess that's it. Everything else looks fine. I mean, it's like just basic Redux application. Source code is quite clean, so I can't tell anything else. Maybe another recommendation to read about hooks and start using them, because Redux, I mean, React itself has a lot of hooks, which might eliminate the need in Redux at all, like, because there are built-in hook for reducers, built-in hook for states, and stuff like that. So it's usually possible to implement small applications without Redux or any state library. But when the application is much more like complex, then you need to use, of course, state library. And again, Redux toolkit and Redux itself had implemented hooks for a lot of things. I'm trying to find them. Okay. Use selector, yeah, okay. So there are a few hooks for, not this one. Use connect. Yeah, that's the... Yes.
It's I guess it's React hooks.
No. React, yes, I know. I mean, React implemented hooks, but if you use, if you need to have like more complex state, then you most probably will use Redux or MobX or any other state container, and Redux itself has its own custom hooks. So basically, there are a few hooks which really simplifies working with the Redux. For example, yeah, where is use connect? Use selector. All right. So, for example, use selector. You just write it on the top of the function. It uses state from the Redux, and that's it. You can grab any data. You don't need to map state to props, write that object, especially that, I mean, you don't use TypeScript most probably, but if you will start to use it, you will quickly realize that that object, I mean map props to map state to props, is actually loses all the information about internal structure of the object. So I mean it's too much code to write. So using Redux with hooks really simplifies stuff. So use selector. God damn it, where is use store? It was use store. Okay. No, it's not use store. Is it context? I've actually lost the information about connection. I mean, it was like use connect before, but maybe they've just removed it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't see any documentation here. Anyway, yeah. Another one is like use dispatch. Again, you can just create dispatch. You don't need to bind anything. You just import it if your component will be connected to store, and that's it. You just dispatch the type, and it's easy to use. You don't need to map dispatch stuff. So that's really simplifies a lot of things. Again, that's like the recommendation to, if you start the application, try to use Redux toolkit because it's recommended by Redux team. Actually, there was a Redux idiomatic, I guess. Yeah, I can't find it anymore. I mean, it was a big wait. I don't remember. Style guide, maybe. Yeah, okay, it's style guide actually. Why they called it like that? But anyway, let me share this link because this is a quite big page from the Redux team telling everyone how to use it actually, to use it correctly, and best practices are there. And if you'll go through it, you will probably see that they recommend to use Redux toolkit. Not anymore, I guess. All right. Okay. So strongly recommended. Use Redux toolkit for writing Redux logic. So here it is. Yeah. All right. So any other questions? Actually, we've already like 16 minutes after the call end. So, but I still can answer a few questions. So I guess no questions then. Yeah. Thanks everyone for joining. Sorry for a lot of I don't know, really boring stuff. But basically, if you want to be a front-end developer, you will be dealing with a lot of boring stuff, especially reading a lot of documentations, which are not really good in some places. Yeah. Anyway, good luck with your exit interviews, and yeah, feel free to chat me if you need anything React related. Like I can answer any questions privately. Well, it's not a lecture. It was like I was just talking for 1 hour. Yeah. But anyway, oh, actually, I'm recording this stuff. How to stop recording now? Should I just? Okay, stop recording. Are you sure you want to stop? I'm actually, yeah, restart. Alt F2, Alt F4. Actually, I'm just chatting to people who ask some questions like that.